welcome to another YouTube live. I have to say, the last time I went live, I really enjoyed it, and I felt like I wanted to go live again to talk about what to do when business feels heavy, hard, or like it's not working. Now, before we go into the topic, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what is not working. That question is really important because asking yourself the question, what is actually not working, will reveal your beliefs about you. So, for example, when I found myself feeling like business was not working, I would ask myself, what is not working? And I would listen to the answer that I would give it. So, for example, I would say, well, no one is signing up. Let's say I would say, business is not working because no one is signing up. And then I would be like, is that an actual truth? Is there a fact? And let's say I already have 2 people that signed up, but I feel like no one is signing up because let's say my goal was I wanted 10 signups for a program and I got 2. And so I feel like business is not working. I ask myself, what is not working? And then I give myself the answer, well, no one is signing up. So the moment I say, well, no one is signing up, I get to look deeper into my beliefs because it's not true. The fact is that 2 people have already signed up, right? So why I'm starting with this is because a lot of times our perception and the way that we speak, the things that we believe about our business is what is actually holding us back from creating more abundance or from attracting more. So whenever I would find myself, for example, doing a masterclass, and let's say I had the goal of 100 signups and I would have 80. And the day before, I would tell myself, why do I feel like I don't have 100 signups? And then I would tell myself, well, maybe I haven't done enough work, or I don't feel good enough, or people don't care. So what you want to do when you feel like business is not working is reverse back engineer. Hi, Lara, nice to see you. Right, and so reverse back engineer is asking yourself, what do I actually believe about the situation? What is the fact and what is the situation? Because of a lot of the times what we do is we add a lot of our own narrative and a lot of our own story into the situation that is actually not true. Right? Because going back to the example of wanting 10 signups, having only 2 and telling yourself, well, no one is signing up is not true. It is actually not true because you already have 2 signups. So what you have to do is change the way you think about the situation. And that is the first thing I want to talk about. So for those of you who are new in the live chat, what we're doing is talking about what to do when business feels heavy, hard, or like it's not working. Okay. Hi, Josefa, nice to see you. So what we do is really get deeper into understanding what within me is creating the resistance in my business to grow and to expand, right? So a lot of the work that, of course, as you know, I do is looking at your nervous system, looking at your beliefs, looking at your identity, looking at what's going on within you that might be creating your desired or undesired results. And so a lot of the times, what we're not realizing is that our underlying expectation of something working or not working is either creating the result or not creating the result. Okay, so let's take it a step back. Let's say you have the goal in your business to make $1,000 a month. But right now, I want you to look at your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So let's say right now you're making $100 in a month and you want to make $1,000 in a month. What it means is that the $100 that you're making right now is a match to your thoughts, feelings, and actions that you have at the very moment. So if you know that you are a match to your thoughts and feelings and your actions, ask yourself, well, okay, if I'm making $100 a month in my business, what am I thinking? Am I thinking I'm powerful? Am I thinking my work is amazing? Am I thinking everyone needs to join? Or am I thinking, oh my God, hopefully people are going to buy. Hopefully people are going to see me. Hopefully people are going to, want to work with me. What are the feelings? Am I feeling good enough? Am I feeling powerful? Am I feeling excited? Or am I feeling in lack? Am I feeling like it's really, really difficult for me to make money? Am I feeling like it's really difficult for me to have the success that I want in my business? And then what are the actions at the same time? What can be the actions connected to your feelings? The actions can be not showing up as often as maybe you'd need. Not posting, not selling, not reaching out to people, not doing the things that are going to help you generate the money. Do you see that? And so if we know that our current thoughts and feelings and actions are creating our current result, we have to reverse back engineer and ask ourselves, okay, so what are the thoughts, feelings, and actions of someone who makes $1,000 a month? So that someone who makes $1,000 a month probably has different thoughts, feelings, and actions than the person that is making $100 a month. So the best exercise that you can do in order for you to shift that is to literally take out a piece of paper. Ask yourself, write down your current results, and based on the current results, thoughts, write down all your thoughts. Feelings, write down all your feelings. Actions, what are all the actions that you're taking? And then on the other side, you write down what is your goal. Either that's a financial goal, either that's a number, whatever that might be. You write down your goal, and then you ask yourself, the person who has this goal, what are their thoughts, feelings, and actions? And then every day you focus on the other side of the paper, not on the left side, on the other side, right? Now, going back to why business might also feel hard or like it's not working is also asking yourself, what is it that I actually want in my business? And why do I feel like I need this result so much? Hi, Watermelon. Love your name. So again, what is it that I actually want right now in my business? And why do I want this result so much? Oftentimes what happens is we want a result so much in our business, like money, a number, whatever that might be, and we're grabbing onto it so tightly. We're like, I want this so much. And we feel like once we achieve this thing, the way that we will feel changes, right? So once I make 10 clients, oh my God, I will finally feel happy and like I achieved something and I will feel worthy. Or once I make $10,000, I will feel this and that way. Or I can finally do the thing I've been wanting to do, right? So what I'm trying to say is, why do you feel like that result, what is it going to change in your life? And why do you grab onto that result so much? When we look at a business ultimately is a journey. And every entrepreneur who is successful, every business owner that is successful will tell you that they had to unlearn focusing too much on the end result and focusing on the process instead, and actually learning to enjoy the process of putting in the repetitions and showing up and staying consistent, right? Now, for example, I would find that if I would set myself, let's say I wanted to make $10,000 a month. That was my first initial business goal, right? Which I achieved. And I would find that I wanted to make that money because I knew on the other side, I was going to feel more fulfilled. I was going to feel more successful. I was going to feel more confident because then if I already make $10,000, maybe people are going to look at me differently. It's going to be easier to sell more. It's going to be easier to feel like I'm credible, da, 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 da. So I had to ask myself, how can I feel this now without needing the result to happen? How can I already feel enough now? How can I already feel credible now? Why do I feel like that result is going to create that for me? Because what happens is you're too focused on the outside and you believe you're giving your power away to outside things, believing that the things outside of you are going to make you happy. The things outside of you are going to help you feel good enough. The things outside of you is what's going to create, whatever, joy or excitement. But that is a slippery slope because when you have this type of relationship with your business, you have a very unhealthy relationship with your business. Business is going well. You're making money. Yay, I'm excited. I'm happy. Life is great. Business is going down. I'm not making money. People are not signing up. I hate my life. This sucks. This is difficult. Blah, 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 right? All the negative. And I was in that. I would have amazing days. Business was great. People are signing up. I'm making money. Da da da. All this great stuff. I would go out. I would feel like a different person. I would walk through the city and I would feel like a very different person. And then the other day, when people were not paying or buying, or I was having a hard time making sales, or whatever that was, my energy was different. I felt different. I was more anxious. I was sad. And that excitement would only come when I saw the results. And so I was so attached to the results that I believed I was only worthy if I achieved certain results, which again is not what business is about. Business is about you creating something that gives value to people in any type of way. And of course, you doing something that you hopefully love, right? And so when we find ourselves business feeling heavy, hard, or like it's not working, it's because we might be giving our power away to outside things rather than asking ourselves, the thing that I believe is going to help me feel better or more excited or more fulfilled or more enough, how can I create that within myself now? Now, why we might feel like the things outside of us are going to give us either fulfillment or happiness or whatever it is that you're seeking, why we feel like it's dependent on our result is because, of course, of how we are raised a lot of the times, right? So if you were raised in a household where maybe, when you got good grades, you were praised and you were like, you were getting all the love and all the attention when you were getting good grades, and when you didn't, it was different. Or maybe you were a person that was taught that if you do what you were told, then you're the good girl and everything is fine. And so you have learned certain behaviors and certain patterns early on in childhood. You were programmed to think a certain way and believe things in a certain way, that now these patterns can play in a very similar way with your business. So you got to ask yourself, well, what are the patterns that are showing up in my business? And can I go back to the root of when this pattern was developed, when that belief was formed that created that pattern? Because everything you've experienced in life that left some type of energetic imprint on your body has created a belief that has created a pattern today about who you think you are, what you think you deserve, and it's going to be shown in your behavior. And that behavior, of course, will either lead you to the results that you want or not, right? Now, going a step further, if you feel like business feels heavy, hard, or like it's not working, asking yourself, have I actually been doing things that are moving the needle? So I'm trying to bring in a lot of like inner work here, but also strategy, because both of them are important. Oftentimes, why we might not have success in our strategy, or why we actually don't see success in our strategy, is because of what's going on within us holding ourselves back, sabotaging, not showing up, not doing the work that is going to move the needle, right? But also asking ourselves, well, am I actually doing the work that is going to move the needle in my business? So let's say you have a program and maybe you're a coach or you're an artist and you're trying to sell a course or a program that you've created. What are some actions that will move the needle, right? What are some actions that are going to move the needle? Well, probably talking about your program or your course on all platforms, selling it, nurturing your audience, maybe collecting emails to nurture those people too, going live, creating posts, having an audience that actually sees you, having exposure to people who actually see, who actually want to buy from you, right? So you got to ask yourself, am I right now taking action that is moving the needle? Because I've seen so many people, and that is a nervous system response, that are way too focused on overthinking, over planning, perfectionism, feeling like they need to know more, they need to do more before they can actually launch, before they can actually do the thing that's going to move them forward. So you might find yourself stuck in tasks that are actually not moving the needle and that are keeping you stuck, right? So overthinking, planning, trying to put everything perfectly together, feeling like it's never enough, doing another course, doing another whatever. While actually what you got to do is ask yourself, what tasks can I do today that are actually going to move the needle forward in my business, that are actually going to change the result on the back end? So do you see how we have a full circle going back to what I was saying before with your thoughts, feelings, and actions? So when you write down your actions after your thoughts and feelings, these actions should be needle moving actions, something that when you put in a different type of effort, you will see a different type of results. Also, thinking outside of the box, right? Now, going back to the nervous system aspect that we talk a lot about, why it might feel heavy, hard, or like it's not working. It's because you might be operating from a nervous system baseline that is dysregulated. And the truth is, the majority of us, we are dysregulated because we grew up with parents, caregivers that were dysregulated themselves. We've taken on that dysregulation automatically. As children, we are very absorbent. So even through eye movements, we take on the regulation that our parents and caregivers have. So we take that regulation on, and then we go through life with a dysregulation, right? And so if you are dysregulated at the baseline, what's going to happen is that most likely you're either in fight or flight or fawn or freeze. And so when you're trying to build a business with a constant dysregulation, you're actually not living your full potential. You're actually not fully expressing yourself how you want to express yourself in your business. You're actually not taking the needle moving action because your nervous system is keeping you stuck and is keeping you what your nervous system thinks it's safe, not allowing you to take the action that is going to move the needle in your business, right? So for example, if you are living in fight or flight, which many women that I come across are living, and I used to live in fight or flight for a very long time in my life. If you watched, if you were part of my other masterclass in my Telegram group, I talk a lot about this. If you're interested in joining the Telegram group, let me know and I'll send you the link. I do a lot of trainings on there about this, and I share a lot of my personal stories in there too. Hi, Camila, nice to see you. Right? And so what's really important to understand that is if you have a baseline nervous system where you are living in fight or flight, you can't be creative, you can't be innovative, you can't think outside of the box because all that your body is thinking is survival. Think of it this way. When you're in fight or flight, your body is thinking there's a lion trying to catch you right now. So your body is not going to be like, oh, let me think outside of the box and create an amazing program and do things that are going to move the needle in my business. Instead, what's going to happen is your body is trying to survive. And so you might still show up for your business. You might still do the things over and over again and be consistent. A lot of people are that. That used to be me. I was so consistent in my business, but I was in a constant fight or flight. So it didn't allow me to actually innovate and create and do something that I was really loving. And it also didn't allow me to do things that were moving the needle in my business. Right. And so I would find myself oftentimes burned out, oftentimes stuck, oftentimes like things weren't working because actually the things that I was doing weren't aligned with my true authentic self. And so what's going to happen is if you have a baseline where your nervous system is dysregulated, maybe you're feeling anxious a lot of the times, or you're feeling nervous, or you feel like something bad is about to happen. When you are living in that nervous system state, of course, like business is going to feel heavy. It's going to feel hard. It's going to feel like it's not working because you're fighting against yourself all the time. You're fighting against that inner, like you're having an inner fight all the time. And again, I know how it feels like because I feel like the majority time of my business, when I started my first business, which was a vegan health coaching business, I was fighting against myself a lot of the times. I was fighting against my thoughts, my limiting thoughts. I was fighting against my fatigue. I was fighting against my burnout and all the other issues that I had. There were a lot of fights, and because I was fighting with myself and I wasn't at a peak state as a human being myself, my business was struggling in a way where I wasn't making the money that I wanted to and I wasn't expanding. Now, don't get me wrong, I still had a successful business, but I would feel stuck because I wanted more. I wanted to expand. I wanted to have more impact, and I would still find myself doing the same thing over and over again and still not seeing different results because of the state of being I was in, right? Which really brings me to, you are the creator of your business. You are the person that creates the success. When you understand this and you take on 100% responsibility for your business, you have to prioritize your well-being and your nervous system state immediately. Like, if right now you're putting everything to the side, like working out, eating healthy, sleeping well, spending time with your dog, like I don't know what it is, to build your business, you're doing it the wrong way. And maybe you've grown up just like me with the Gary V's and all the people who are telling you to push through, don't have weekends, work 20-hour days, blah, 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 blah. Like, for them, it has worked. But this is not the way, in my opinion, to build a business that is healthy. Because I never want to put my health last. I don't want to have a lot of money in a successful business if I'm struggling, because eventually it's going to catch up to you. And I've seen it. I spend time around a lot of rich people, millionaires, people who are successful, and they were miserable inside. They were actually really unhealthy because they have been so used to pushing through so that they achieved the external results, and they did, and then they were actually struggling internally. So you're the creator of your business. It starts with you. And the better you feel, the more superhuman you feel, the more successful your business is going to be. Because when you fully accept that it starts and ends with you, and you take 100% responsibility for your business, that's when everything is going to shift, right? So if you're listening to this right now and you're like, okay, but how do I do this? That is why I created my program, Embodied Business. It is for my female ladies, for my female entrepreneurs who know this is the foundation. We do all the work, nervous system regulation, subconscious reprogramming, somatic practices, identity work, capacity expanding. This is the foundation to create a successful business and to hold it. This is not just about making more money, but being able to hold it and receive it. This is the work, why I decided to focus on this, because if I would have known about the things that I teach in Embodied Business when I started my business, I would have exploded in my business. I'm not kidding you. Because at that time, when I started my business, I had a friend, and my friend and I, we were talking a lot, and we actually started at the same time in our business, and we were making the same amount of money every month. And then her income exploded. And I was like, what is your secret? Tell me. Like, she 5x, I think, her income, something like this, which was crazy to me. Or even more. Like, it was absolutely insane. And I asked her, I was like, what did you do differently? And she said, oh, I signed up to this coach. And so I was like, I want to sign up to this coach. And I remember it was like a $10,000 investment at that time, which, like, it scared the shit out of me because I was like, that was the first time I ever invested this type of money. But I was like, if I want to have a business up here, I got to lead myself. I got to invest bigger than I ever have because I want to get to that next level. And that next level requires me to do things differently. So despite my nervous system being like, are you sure? I did it. I was like, let me do this. And you know what? I did not get the results that she was getting. Actually, I was still stuck. Why? Why? Because the state of being I was in was not the state of being she was in. She did all this work that I'm teaching now in Embodied Business, and I didn't. I was trying to outwork my nervous system state. I was trying to do more rather than to actually go inwards and look at what's within me that creates my results. So we talk everything: energy, somatics, your subconscious mind, because all of that is a mirror. Your business is a mirror to what's going on within you. Your business results are a mirror to what is going on within you. And that clicked for me because we were in the same program and she was getting amazing results and I wasn't. And I was like, oh my God, it doesn't make any sense. But it made sense afterwards when I understood that she was in a very different state than I was. And so that's why I decided to dedicate myself to this work, because I truly believe more women, more people need to know about Embodied Business and what it means like to understand that you are creating your business from the inside out. So if you want to hear more about this, I will drop the link in the description after the live is posted, of course. We are starting the next round on August 4th, and we have a special prize until August 1st. If you are part of my email list, you would have seen it. I sent an email out like, I don't want an hour ago or something. If you do have more questions, you're more than welcome to message me directly on Instagram or per email. But this program is the place to be, truly. And we have a lot of incredible, successful women already in the business, and you're welcome to join us as well. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you there. Mwah. And until next time, bye-bye. If I get to end this, I don't know how to end this live.